Paddington had never been inside a restaurant before, and he was very excited when he saw what Mr. Brown had bought him. He was so hungry and thirsty he didn't know which to do first, eat or drink. "I think I'll try doing both at the same time, if you don't mind," he announced. Without waiting for a reply, he climbed up onto the table and promptly stepped on a large cream and jam cake. Mr. Brown stared out of the window, pretending he had tea with a bear in Paddington Station every day of his life. "Henry!" cried Mrs. Brown when she arrived with Judy. "What are you doing to that poor bear?" "He's covered in jam and cream." Paddington jumped up to raise his hat. In his haste, he slipped on a patch of strawberry jam and fell over backwards into his cup of tea. "I think we'd better go before anything else happens," said Mr. Brown. Judy took a hold of Paddington's paw. "Come along," she said. "We'll take you home, and you can meet Mrs. Bird and my brother Jonathan." Mr. Brown led the way to a waiting taxi. "Number 32, Windsor Gardens, please," he said. The driver stared at Paddington. "Bears is extra. Sticky Bears is twice as much. And make sure none of it comes off on my interior. It was clean when I set out this morning." The Browns climbed into the back of the taxi, and Paddington stood on a little tip-up seat behind the driver so that he could see where they were going. The sun was shining as they drove out of the station, and there were cars and big red buses everywhere. Paddington waved to some people waiting at a bus stop, and several of them waved back. One man even raised his hat. It was all very friendly. Paddington tapped the taxi driver on the shoulder. "It isn't a bit like darkest Peru," he announced. The man jumped at the sound of Paddington's voice. "Cream," he said bitterly, "all over my new coat." There was a bang as he slid the little window behind him shut. "Oh dear, Henry," murmured Mrs. Brown. "I wonder if we're doing the right thing."